Some painters transform the sun into a yellow spot. Others transform a yellow spot into the sun. What a beautiful quote by the legendary Spanish painter Pablo Picasso, which holds true for my guest on the show today. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Creators on Graphy. And I'm your host, Rishabh. Well, today I have with me someone who's an extremely special and talented human being. He's someone who started painting at the age of 3. Yes, 3. A self-taught artist who hails from a small town called Ujjire in Karnataka, but is today one of the most renowned and sought-after speed painters in the world. His talent, dedication, and hard work have led him to perform across 23 countries in more than 500 events. Some of these events include India's Got Talent, Asia's Got Talent, the NBA Halftime Show, the UN General Assembly, just to name a few. He is also someone who's known to have a golden heart, working closely for a lot of charitable causes. So who is this rock star? Let's find out.
Hello everyone, I am Vilas Nayak. I am a self-taught artist. I am based here in Bangalore. Let me give you a sneak peek of my life. And welcome to perhaps the most important place in my house for me, because this is where I create artworks. Here I have, this is an oil painting on canvas setup. Unlike speed painting, this takes a lot of time to complete a single painting. Welcome to my art garage. This is where I do a lot of speed painting performances, and I love being here. Why? Because I'm free to throw paint the way I want, whether it is on the wall or on the floor. I'm free to do whatever I feel like, right? So I really enjoy my time here, and you can see some of the speed painting artworks that I have created already. Let me show some more artwork for you guys. I traveled to Udaipur a few years ago, and inspired by what I saw there, I created this watercolor. So this is my house, and here is something that I want you guys to see again. Here's a bag from the great Virendra Sehwag, and these paintings are really precious because I created this 18 years ago when I was in college. Here's another painting that I want you guys to see. Okay, I created this in 2014. You can see the signature here, and I was like, what a beautiful place, and I really want to visit. And guess what? In 2016, I was able to visit the exact same place, and I clicked the picture as well. Dreams do come true, isn't it, guys? Some of the most important and most beautiful awards that I have received over the years, and I have kept it here in my living room itself. So here's something that I want you guys to see, right? This is something really precious. An autograph from the great Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam himself. I really cherish this. Alright guys, so that was a little bit about what I do. Now let me speak to Rishabh. I'm sure he has some questions for me.
Hey Vikas, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks so much, Rishabh. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, it was a visual treat to the eyes to see the vlog that we just saw some time back, the video that you shared with us. It was an absolute pleasure to see all those awards that you have accumulated and those paintings. So I am a huge fan of Heath Ledger. So I saw that painting in your collection. So how long did you take to make that particular painting?
This was actually shot for an episode, but otherwise, when I perform live, something like this will take, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes, anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, wow, 3 to 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Did Heath Ledger, the Joker painting first time on Asia's Got Talent. There, of course, because on television shows, they won't give you like more time, right? So I had to finish the painting in 2.5 minutes.
Right. Okay. So, Vilas, we obviously know so much about you. I mentioned it in my introduction as well, that you are this great artist and, you have this special talent. We, of course, know that you're a great painter, but let's know something more than that. Are there any other hidden talents that you possess?
Oh, well, right now, I don't know. But, I was good in studies. I don't know whether to call that a talent or not, but I was good in academics. I was a rank holder. And then I had a great talent. In fact, I was a good shuttle badminton player. So I represented my school and college like throughout. So I was actually continuously representing my school and college, and I played badminton for 15 years non-stop.
Wow.
And I was also good in cricket. Of course, 90s kids, right? Looking up to Sachin Tendulkar and
Right.
to be the next superstar of cricket and all that. So, but apart from that, if there is one thing that I really love, and also I do sing a little bit. So, I mean, music is like really one of my area of interest. Also, because, when I paint live, right, I always have a music in the background and it goes
Right.
together. And, I can't think of art separate from music. So I do
Right.
sing. I mean, my friends and they all know that, but of course, not a trained artist, not a trained singer at all. It's all whatever I feel like I do it.
Hmm. So now that you've mentioned this, we will definitely ensure that you sing us a song at the end of the show. So,
Cool. Yeah.
so Vilas, let's get into it further. I just want to ask you this. It's been a long journey, obviously, in this profession of yours. What do you think is the most enjoyable part of it? Do you enjoy the creative part of it, wherein you create? Do you enjoy the fact that you get to travel to so many places, or is there something else?
I think it's all put together. I mean, when I took this up, a full-time career, in fact, I didn't even know there is something called as a event management space, and you can actually go and perform as let's say, a performing artist. In fact, before 2010, that's when I participated in India's Got Talent, and then I quit my job to take this up full-time. Before that, even I didn't know that, art can be a performing art, like you can take it as a profession. So everything came as a surprise for me. But as you rightly mentioned, of course, the single most thing that I love is, just painting. Now during this COVID times, even I'm not getting to travel, but I still enjoy sitting at home and painting. So that surely is my first love. But added to that is, like when you pursue your passion, I always say that, you pursue your passion and everything else will follow you. You have to follow.
Absolutely.
That's it. So for me, this painting, as I said in my video also, I created in 2014. Right? Till then, I had not visited Europe, US, and many other countries. And it was always my dream to visit Italy because, artistically, Michelangelo, Leonardo Vinci, so
Absolutely.
many artists been there, they lived there. So, but after creating this painting, right, and exactly after 2 years, I was able to visit the same place. So travel has been my most memorable thing. That has what art has given me. So I'm really thankful to that.
Right. So just like you mentioned, all these countries that you wanted to really visit, and so what was the culture in these countries when it comes to art, right? What were you exposed to when you visited these countries? How is it different from what we have here in India?
Well, historically, India has always been a country that encourages art. Just by looking at some of the 2,000 year old monuments that we see all over.
Yes.
Proof that, historically we have been a culture where we encourage art and music. But I think right now, the major difference has to be in terms of when you start thinking of taking this up as a career, right?
Right.
Even in India, people still look at, let's say, a stand-up comedian, a DJ, a speed painter.
Unconventional.
Many things, right, which are still unconventional. Thanks to like social media and a lot of media exposure now, people are slowly changing. But that's exactly what I saw in especially Western countries, right? They are so open, and the art is everywhere. Especially Europe, like the street artists, the music, it's everywhere. You just have to walk down the street and you see art everywhere. I hope that happens sometime in future here in India.
Yes. Right. So let's take it back a little, Vilas, to your childhood. As I mentioned in my introduction that you were someone who started painting at the age of 3. Yep. So what is your earliest memory of painting?
My earliest memory has to be like when I was a kid, I used to stand next to to the road, and like whatever the vehicles that pass by, I would just sketch that, like it could be like an auto rickshaw or something like that. And also, of course, lot of landscapes, nature, like I lived in a place, I grew up in a place called Ujire. and
Okay.
we could actually see the Western Ghats from there, right?
Mm.
So it's such an inspiration, and nature has always been an inspiration for me to paint. So that is my earliest memory, painting landscapes, painting vehicles, and also a lot of devotional paintings. I remember I in fact have a sketch that I did when I was in third standard, like a sketch of a Lord Ganesha, Ma Saraswati and all that. I
Right.
still have it actually. Yeah.
Right. So, when did you actually realize, that this is something that I really want to pursue and I want to take this art up very seriously? Because I know that you're someone who was also working in a corporate job. So, when did you realize that, now is the time that I should really devote my full time to this?
From 2007 onwards, I started working in Bangalore. So let's say after working for 5 years, I think this happened around 2010. One of my friends called me up and saying that there is a reality show happening in Karnataka, in Kannada television, and you can showcase any talent, right? So I was like, wow, why not try this speed painting on television? I think that would probably be the first ever time a speed painting was tried on a reality show ever here in Indian television, right? And that was a huge success. I was a finalist of that show, and then I practiced 1 full year to go to India's Got Talent. The exposure that I got in India's Got Talent made me think this probably is the right time to take the risk, if at all I have to take, because I was bachelor at that point of time also. So let's say not much of family responsibilities. You're okay to take that kind of risk, right? So thankfully I took that risk in 2011. No looking back after that. Yeah.
Awesome. So, like you mentioned about family and the fact that this is quite an unconventional career, what were their thoughts about it? Were they someone who encouraged you, or were they someone that said that no, stay in a stable job? What was their thought process?
Well, see, they always knew that I was good in painting, right? Because someone who has been painting from age 3, obviously my parents, my 2 elder sisters, my friends, everybody knew that this guy is good in painting. But again, when it comes to taking up a job, initially definitely nobody was like convinced that art could be taken up as a full-time profession. I'll tell you why. Because in the 90s, right, even in the village where I was living, what I was doing, I was also writing banners. If you remember, now you have all this digitally printed hoardings and all those stuff, right? But earlier we used to write it. So I was doing that, and so the imagination was that this is what you can do as an artist if you take it up full time, right? That's all we could think of. But then thankfully I grew, and I got to know that okay, a lot of things are happening in the world, and but finally when I said I want to take this decision, my parents were quite supportive. Because by then I was already a known guy in the art circle, in terms of, because I was already on a national television show. And I told them, the way I convinced even myself and my parents was that, I'll take this risk. Let's see how does this go for 1 year, right?
Right.
Doesn't go well, I always have a chance to get back to corporate life. But yeah, as I said, once I took that decision, it's been
no looking back.
Yeah. It's truly like, living my dream right now.
Absolutely. So you are someone we can definitely say who has turned your passion into a profession, right?
Absolutely. I think, let's see, a lot of people, unfortunately, are not able to do that, right? For many reasons. It could be for financial reason, for lack of opportunities, and lack of dedication also. A lot of time I see people have amazing abilities. Every child's an artist, we say, right? The challenge is how to remain an artist when you grow up. It's not only about art, but then we will have very unique talents, whether it could be in sports, art, or science, whatever. But then, due to this social pressure, we are always pushed to take up something very conventional. Yeah.
Right. So, Vilas, as an artist, right, everybody usually says that, an artist has a particular inspiration. So who is that inspiration in your case?
As I said, first of all, it has to be nature, like forever is going to be my inspiration. Why? Because whatever as an artist, I'm talking about a visual artist that you want to learn is already available there. We talk about composition, we talk about color combination, we talk about aesthetics. everything is already available out there in nature. You just have to see it. That's all. So
Right.
that would be my first and the major inspiration. In terms of artists, I've been inspired by a lot of artists. Shri BKS Varma, who is Karnataka-based artist, very senior artist, and Denny Dent, who is an American artist. He was someone who started off speed painting, during 70s itself, right? So I got idea of speed painting by listening to these two artists, that they are already doing something like this. So they are really my inspiration to start off speed painting. Apart from that, I do follow a lot of artists. So it's not like I have one source of inspiration. I do look at artworks of everyone, right? And I believe that there is something good to learn from each of these artists. Somebody may be great in terms of their brushstrokes, somebody may be great in terms of their composing abilities. So yeah, it's a great learning experience, in fact.
Great. So you just mentioned about speed painting, right? Normally one struggles to get the basics of painting itself right, but you are someone who's taken it up a notch and even gone up to the level of doing paintings in 2-3 minutes. So how does one, who's just getting started, like you, for example, were someone who was self-taught, you didn't rely on anybody else. But what about other people? Do they refer to some videos or do they join some course if they want to really learn the art of speed painting? How do they go about it?
Well, honestly, I don't think there is any school of thought that will teach you speed painting. You name it. Major art schools, right? Whether it's in India or out of country, I don't think anybody is teaching speed painting because it itself is very unconventional way of doing a artwork. It's actually connecting painting with the performing art. So what you get is a speed painting performance, right? So
yes.
However, I have tried to put together my learnings, and because I have learned all this by doing trial and error way of method. I have done a lot of mistakes and I have learned from it. So I have put together all these learnings, and I'm actually coming up with a course where I teach people from the basics of art to how you can transform yourself from being an artist, from a fine artist to a speed painting performer.
Right. So actually that was going to be my next question to you, which is how does, you actually been a painter all your life and now you've also become a teacher. So how does that feel?
Feels great, actually. I started this very recently, and I have been receiving requests from like last 10 years. Due to my travel, I was really not able to dedicate much time into this, but then I have been really enjoying this, sharing what I know, right? And if it can help someone, because see, the way I have learned this is, by doing a lot of mistakes and doing over and over again, right? So what people can learn from it is, like you can learn from others' mistakes also, right? You don't have to go through all that method again. So you have this 10 years of experience, somebody who has done this already. And if you just listen to that person, you will know probably where to start, right? It will probably reduce your learning curve.
Right. So as we've spoken in length about, you being in this profession for the longest time, if I would ask you that what is the most memorable part of this journey, what would that be for you?
Memorable, perhaps a couple of events that I can mention of. A lot of events, actually. Oh my God. Okay. So I think the first
one that particularly stands out?
Okay, maybe a couple of experiences. I'll quickly tell you. I think the first time I got to perform at NBA halftime, that was for San Antonio Spurs team when the legendary player, Tim Duncan was getting retired, right? So I got to perform during the halftime, and when they introduced me to the stadium in America as, like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vilas Nayak from India. That was like, wow, it's almost like I'm representing my country and performing in front of the American sports loving people. So that was an amazing moment for me. And also I think a couple of events, where when I got to perform at United Nations General Assembly, and recently I performed at the Formula One award ceremony where all the F1 champions were there, including Hamilton. Everybody were there. This happened at the Louvre Art Gallery in Paris. Again, as an artist, for me, just to be there and perform at the Louvre Art Gallery was a surreal experience. Lot of experience, lot of memorable performances actually, and the moments when I met Sachin Tendulkar, the Dalai Lama, the football legend Pele. I mean, these are all during this pandemic time. When I sit and I look back, I'm like, wow. I mean, when did all this happen? It actually feels like whether it was me who was there at all these platforms. It's amazing.
Right. You've already created like this lifetime of memories, right? So just tell me one thing, like, how does all this recognition feel to you? You know, you get recognized on these global platforms, you're covered by news channels, and how does that feel to you?
Look, I mean, it feels great when that is happening, but after a while, it doesn't feel anything. Honestly, if you ask me right now how I'm feeling, nothing. I mean, as I told you, when I look back, it feels as if, was that me who did all that thing, or was that my achievements were covered in all these newspapers or television channels? I don't even remember it most of the times, because I mean, I can probably look back and enjoy what I have already done, or probably I can look forward and see what I can do in future. I'm always kind of very dissatisfied artist, always, because honestly, this is an honest thing, because I always compare myself to some of the greats in the world, right? And I always say, okay, maybe I have to improve this, whether let's say it's an oil painting, maybe this is what I have to incorporating my style and all that. So I think, yeah, this has to go on and on. Probably the only time to actually sit back and look back and enjoy would be like, I think that time shouldn't come at all. As an artist, you should always be forward looking, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, you should never be satisfied with all your achievements. You should always aim for more. So, with regards to that, what are you looking forward to the most in the next 5 years? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
Well, first and foremost, I think I'm just so looking forward to this market to open up, this pandemic to end. It's been almost 1 year, 1 month that I haven't taken a flight, not even a single flight. Otherwise, every year I would travel at least 20 countries, and I would take anywhere between 100 to 200 flights every year. So imagine how the life has changed all of a sudden, right? So I'm right now looking forward to travel again. One of my goal obviously was, why I'm saying this is because I already have performed in 36 countries. One of my dream is to perform in at least 100 countries. Yeah, because art, this speed painting doesn't have any language barrier, right? I can go to China, I can go to any place where people don't understand even English, let's say, take it that way. I just have to put some music, connect with them, and create an artwork, and it will be amazing. And I'm so looking forward to cover that rest of the world. 60? Yeah, 64 countries, right? That's pending.
So which are these countries that are on top of your list right now?
Oh, there are quite a few. Okay, top of my list. See, I haven't visited Iceland. I really want to visit Iceland, and Norway. Russia I haven't visited. There are, I think, a lot of small little countries. See, I have visited all these very popular, countries, like Switzerland, Italy, England. I mean, London, United Nations of America, and all that. But then these small little countries is where I think the beauty lies, which are not really covered by the media that much. These unseen places. These small little places I really want to travel in future and see what. In fact, even very honestly, even India. I think I have probably performed in maybe 70% of these states, but still I think there are like few more places which are pending. Especially Northeast, I have to cover lot many more places. Really looking forward to cover all those things.
Right. Let's just hope this pandemic ends soon, which we all are really hoping for. But speaking about the pandemic itself, right? Was it something that really affected you and the business and the art landscape itself altogether, or did it create something different, like a new avenue? People went online and started doing different things. How did it pan out for you?
See, for me, I think the lockdown actually started last year, right? 2020 March. almost same time, right? The moment the lockdown started, within 1 week, I did my first online event. This was for
Okay.
a really big corporate, and their CEO and people from Japan and India were online, and it was an amazing experience for me. I was like, wow, this can be done, right? But and after that, for the last 1 year, I have done almost, I think, 25 events online. But again, like, it is so challenging to pump yourself, as an artist, because you're staring at a laptop, a camera, and you're performing just to a camera. People are watching you, but then you don't have their presence in real, isn't it? So
Right.
compared to that, when you're on stage, you get that vibe and the energy of, let's say, thousands and lakhs of people,
That adrenaline rush.
different kind of experience. And I think I have heard a lot of great musicians, artists talking about this very topic, where they said, this is what they're missing. But yes, we are thankful to this online, this virtual world, at least, where we are able to connect with people, right? That's at least what I'm really thankful about. But the event and artist, industry as such has really been hit, like, really badly. Thankfully, I'm able to innovate, and I'm
Right.
not only doing speed painting, I also do fine artworks, so I think it's very important to have that kind of variety in your own area of expertise, because life as such is so unpredictable. But I think this challenge has also thrown us, has given us an opportunity to innovate. Now there is a new trend called NFT art, right? Everything is going virtual, non-fungible token. These art, everything is online. So let's see where the world is heading next. I think it's an exciting new phase, actually. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Vilas. So this skill of speed painting, right, and fine art in general, is it something that you feel that you have mastered at this stage, or do you feel like there is still a lot of learning left? Because life is, of course, a learning process. Do you still feel that there is a lot of things that you really need to figure out?
There is, definitely there is. See, in terms of fine arts, what happens is that we already have few benchmarks, because fine art has already been done for thousands of years. Like, I look up to artists, the great European masters, like Rembrandt, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. There are a couple of Russian artists whom I really admire, in terms of their oil painting ability. So that is my benchmark. So I know where I have to go. However, in terms of speed painting, because this is altogether a new space, right? So here we are setting benchmark. In fact, now there is no limit to what can be done. So in fact, I was thinking recently about how I can come up with some new techniques and ways to keep the audience guessing. Of course, I did straight painting, then I do some upside down artworks, then puzzle artwork, then I throw the glitter. So these are all variety of techniques within the space of speed painting that I have come up with. However, there is, I think, more to achieve.
Right. So I think I'm going to ask you a very tough question now. Which do you think is your best work of all time?
Okay. In specific to speed painting, I really, and as an artist, this is my view, that in terms of purely an artwork, I liked the works of the painting of Joker that I did on Asia's Got Talent, Gabbar Singh, Amjad Khan's painting that I did on India's Got Talent, the Dalai Lama painting I did right in front of him. So these are some of the paintings which I really love. I think the quality of artwork came out like really how I really wanted it to be.
Right. And do you recall that special moment, the first time when you saw your painting go up in a gallery? How was that feeling like?
Well, honestly, my painting in terms of going into a gallery has never happened. This is really something different, right? The moment you think of an artist, we always say, oh, okay, do you exhibit your artworks? Of course, I really want to do that in future. But here I am, who has done it completely in a different way. My artworks has not been in any gallery as of today. Nowhere it has been exhibited. But I have performed in over 1,000 events in front of like crores of people. So, this is actually taking art directly to the people, right? Ultimately, what do you want? You want people to come to the gallery and see your artworks. But how many people come to the gallery? Hardly few hundred, not even 1,000, right? But I think one advantage where I'm actually taking art directly to the people. Yeah.
Right. So, Vilas, we're almost at the end of the show. This is something I must definitely ask you because there are a lot of budding artists out there today, who want to get started, on their journey. And there are some people who, want to sell their work. So, how should they go about it? Are there any vendors available on the internet, or is there some process that they have to follow?
Well, see, for all the budding artists, I would say that, concentrate on your strength, right? And you have to figure out where you're really good at. Your skill might be about, doing beautiful pencil sketches. That's it. You can just specialize doing pencil sketch if that is your area of expertise. So find that first of all, and then work on that more. Secondly, in terms of getting more exposure and selling your artworks, well, there is no right or wrong way, especially in a world like art. I think it would really help to make use of social media. Thankfully we have that right now. I would say that 90% of the work that I get are all through social media, or people
Right.
like go to my website, they send a message, and etc. etc. So build your network, build your audience on social media. This is no more what we call as a virtual or unreal media. No, this is real. I think this is the reality now where things are happening. So make use of that. Of course, there are a lot of platforms online where you can actually sell your artwork. The galleries will of course take their own percentage, but it can probably help you as a budding artist to get that exposure. However, if you can get the exposure directly through social media, then you may not need any gallery to represent you, right? You can represent yourself and directly sell it to your customers.
So, Vilas, I believe that you also take part in a lot of charitable events. So, charity is very close to your heart. So, please talk me through that.
Well, of course, I've been really fortunate to have been part of a lot of events where I was able to raise a lot of money. This is one part of charity, right, where we do fundraiser events. So I perform at an event, do a couple of artworks, people bid for that, and the money goes for charity. So money has over 1 crore Indian rupee has already been raised for various causes, like it could be for the education of children, cancer patients, or many causes. So, but there's one more thing that I do is, where I just go and spend my, dedicate my time, share my art with people just to make them happy. There is no fundraiser involved here. So I've been part of, let's say here in Bangalore, there is a Spastic Society of Karnataka, right? So I've been there. I've been part of India Inclusion Summit also, where I've been very active, where I perform year on year just to make people happy. And also because I come from a very, like a remote village, at least at that point of time when I was a kid, there was no exposure at all, right? So I understand that, I have to go back to these small little places and encourage youngsters out there. So whenever I get time, I go to like really remote villages here and there, and, like just go to a government school and perform for kids out there, make them happy or inspire them and just make them believe that, they can do something in life, right? So that's what I have been doing, and that has probably been the most satisfying part of this journey, actually. Yeah.
That's so nice to hear, Vilas. We've come to the end of our show. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and it was great to talk to you and get to know about you and your journey. And we only wish you all the very best, and all the success in the world going forward.
Thank you so much, Rishabh. Thank you. Great talking to you, and thanks so much for having me on the platform. Thank you.
And of course, before I let you go, as discussed, you will have to sing 2 lines of your favorite song.
Seriously, I mean, yeah, this is something what I was not really prepared for. Like, okay, my favorite singers are, Kumar Sanu, SPB, and Sonu Nigam. So let me think which one I can sing. Okay, maybe Kumar Sanu.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. सांसों की जरूरत है कैसे, सांसों की जरूरत है जैसे, जिंदगी के लिए बस एक सनम चाहिए, आशिकी के लिए.
Brilliant, Vilas. The Indian Idol auditions will also open up soon, so hopefully you can apply for that as well.
Hopefully, and my friends have been telling me for a long time that I should sing and paint. That would be really challenging, but hopefully.
Yeah, that could be a great combination.
Will do.
All right. Thanks, Vilas. Once again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thank you.
So that was Vilas Nayak for you, ladies and gentlemen. We had a wonderful conversation with him. We will be back soon with some more talented creators, or in our terms, graphers. Until then, if you are someone who wants to grow your audience, monetize your skills, and want to host live-based cohort courses, then Graphy is the place to be. In short, be a creator on Graphy.